Greetings to everybody in YouTube land. It's time to take a quick look at the final 4 weeks of the 2015-2016 Palm Coast Lanes Friday Night Mixed. In week 31 of the Friday Night Mixed, the L's and C's had a chance to finally end this once and for all against the Steelers, a team they've had little trouble against in the past. And they would pull through as Zewin Lee and Scott Cooper would both be great. They would take all 7 and clinch the Friday Night Mixed Championship with 3 weeks to go. Up Your Alley would take 5 from the 5 stars in spite of a lack of consistency, and Joe's Aces would end up taking 5 over the Turtle Lickers, and Mike Hamilton's bunch has been struggling. Jeffrey Twombly had a great performance, and his Alley Cats took all 7 over the Oddballs. The Sandbaggers would take 5 over Mark It Up as Lori DeVore was strong, and Highly Medicated would end up taking 5 over struggling Guys and Dolls. The title chase is over, but who would end up taking the spot behind the L's and C's at the end of the season? Week 32 of the Friday Night Mix would have 4 close battles and 2 massive blowouts. The Steelers would crush Joe's Aces, taking 7 and total would by nearly 330 points as Bud Geisey ripped a 700 series. The Alley Cats would blow out Up Your Alley, taking all 7 and total would by almost 400 points. Both winning teams also won their first games by well over 200 points. The 5 stars wouldn't pull off the season sweep of the Sandbaggers, but they would take 5. The Oddballs would take care of the L's and C's, taking 5, but not by much. The Turtle Lickers would have something to smile about as they took 5 from Highly Medicated, winning for the first time in quite some time. The closest battle of week 32 would be the one between Mark It Up and Guys and Dolls. Rich Heavner's bunch would barely escape with 5, and total would by 5 pins, in a battle that came right down to the end. The Steelers cut Joe's Aces' second place gap in half, and are the only team with a realistic shot to pass them. As the end draws near, it would be a bad time to lose, especially when you want to place as high as possible. And for Steve Hoffman Sr., he would do everything he could to help his Oddballs make their move. His team would take 5 over the Steelers, but Hoffman would rip an incredible 730 series. Highly Medicated would barely hang on and take 5 from Joe's Aces, and the L's and C's would take all 7 from the Alley Cats, extending their lead all the way to 30. Scott Cooper's bunch also clinched the wins and largest margin of victory records in the sweep. Guys and Dolls recovered early and denied the Turtle Lickers a season sweep, taking 5. And the Sandbaggers would escape with 5 over Up Your Alley, even though Jack Shuda was strong. The closest finish of the season would be in the battle between the 5 stars and Mark It Up. Dave Bonanno's bunch would take 5, and total would by 1 pin. Heading into the final week, Mark It Up's chances of avoiding finishing last are very slim, and the L's and C's could potentially finish the season winning the title by 37 win points. What would happen in the final week? In the final week of the Friday Night Mix, there would be a couple of close battles and a few not so close ones. Joe's Aces would take 6 from the L's and C's, locking up second place for James DiStefano's bunch. It would be the only week where Scott Cooper's team would not win a game. The Steelers would escape in a close battle, taking 4 from the 5 stars. Both teams would hold their position. Ed Smith would come through big, as Highly Medicated would take 5 over the Sandbaggers in spite of Lori DeVore recovering from a slow start. For Highly Medicated, they were the only team to win at least 1 game per week. The Oddballs would handle Up Your Alley and take 5 from them, as Jack Shuda's bunch had a disappointing last game. Karen O'Shaughnessy would be fantastic, but her Guys and Dolls would fall short, only taking 2 from the Alley Cats as Dog Wolf ripped an awesome 714 series. And Mark It Up would use 2 very close wins to build momentum, and they would take all 7 from the Turtle Lickers. Sue Johnson would rip a superb 509 series, and her bunch would avoid finishing in last. And now, here are the final standings, last through first. The Turtle Lickers finished last. Mark It Up finished 11th. The Alley Cats finished 10th. Guys and Dolls finished 9th. Up Your Alley finished 8th. The Sandbaggers finished 7th. The Oddballs finished 6th. Highly Medicated finished 5th. The 5 stars finished 4th. The Steelers finished 3rd. Joe's Aces finished 2nd. And the 2015-2016 Friday Night Mix champions, the L's and C's. And now for the high average races. For the men, David Evans took it with a 208.34 average, winning by 6.38 pins over Bill Versack. For the women, it would be Sandra Berry with a 175.27 average, winning by 14.67 pins over Karen O'Shaughnessy. The most improved bowlers. For the men, James DiStefano took it again, raising his average 18.84 pins, winning by 6.7 pins over Greg Smith. For the women, it would be Zulin Lee, raising her average 12.59 pins, winning by 1.27 pins over Janine Volpe. Here are some random bowler facts. Dave Bonanno, Mike Naylor, and Mike Hamilton were the only 3 bowlers to bowl all 102 games. 9 bowlers bowled a 300-plus handicap game, and nobody had more than 1. 14 bowlers bowled a 700 series, and the 4 bowlers who have more than one 700-plus had at least 2. 6 bowlers bowled an 800 handicap series, and 4 of them got their 800-pluses off of a 700-plus series. And now some random team facts. The longest single winning streak was 17 by the Steelers. The longest losing streak was 21 by the Steelers and Mark It Up. The L's and C's and Joe's Aces had the most total wood wins, each with 22. Mark It Up had the least number of total wood wins with 12. There were 11 occurrences of a team taking total wood by at least 300 points. There were 7 occurrences of a team winning a game by at least 200 points. There were 5 occurrences of a team bowling at under 3,000 handicap series, and there were 3 tie games. The L's and C's had the most number of 7-0 wins with 11. Highly Medicated had the least number of 7-0 wins with 1. Highly Medicated and the L's and C's had the least number of 7-0 losses with 0, and the Turtle Lickers had the most 7-0 losses with 7. And now, quick facts for each team. Up Your Alley was one of 2 teams to gain 2 or more places in the second half of the season. Highly Medicated posted the shortest maximum losing streak of 7. The L's and C's had the best record in both the first and second halves of the season. Guys and Dolls had the worst record and was the least improved team in the second half, winning 27 less points than in the first half. The 5 Stars were the only team to take total wood by 3 pins or less twice. The Steelers were by far the most durable team, posting just 10 absentee scores. Mark It Up was the most improved team in the second half, winning 24 more points than in the first half. The Oddballs were involved in the most games decided by 1 pin or less with 3. The Sandbaggers had the same record in the first and second halves of the season. Joe's Aces last took 7 in Week 19, the 3rd longest drought of not taking 7. The Alley Cats were one of 7 teams to tie for the best position round record. And the Turtle Lickers had the worst position round record. It was a great season of Friday Night Mixed Bowling, and until the next season starts, so long for now!
Mission all over! And the crowd knows it. Second ball. Sounds like the crowd is giving her a little encouragement. Let's see a big finish. Trying a curveball. Wow, nice mixer. Wow, here's that great strike again. Killer, what a great shot. And this game ends at 189. Great score! Bowler 5 is the reigning champ. Let's see where we stand at the end of this series. Bowler 3 wins the series. On behalf of Incredible Technologies and all its staff, I am Randy Peterson saying thanks for playing Silver Strike Bowling.